Something.
Yeah, okay. Alright, hello everyone. Today we are doing more Pokemon Legends today. At this time, I hope the stream audio is capturing because I'm still upset about yesterday's thing not capturing for the 1.5 hours. Just, but it is what it is. Very sure or mysterious. Yes, what do you mean? Very sure or mysterious. You'd never be able to tell by looking at them, but they have all kinds of effects. Wouldn't you like to try one out? Here, Rosalie Berry, thank you. Pokemon holding places is a very fairy type. However, that move will be weakened. With a description of your berries and use them to great effect. Why were we here? I thought we were doing finding Vince's
We're
clan.
finding Ivor's sister.
Yeah, Vince's hardware going downstairs also puts a lot of strain on the legs. No, it doesn't. I feel exhausted whenever I climb stairs, but I can climb downstairs like nobody's business.
Oh yeah.
Like climbing 2 flights of stairs, I'm exhausted and dying. But climbing down 9 flights of stairs is something I've actually done before.
Same. Also,
Also,
I'm going to continue our conversation from yesterday because now I have you stuck.
conversation about. All right, okay. That reminds me. That's why we didn't. I missed.
All right. So, anyways, to recap, a whole long time ago, there's a bunch of guys. They had a master. He disappeared. There was a bunch of tension. One of them turned out to be a traitor, and they all went to war with one another in this one big 5-way Keyblade war. The traitor was given the task of sequestering away a bunch of the people that she liked, basically, to keep them safe and make them the survivors of that war.
Yeah.
Next, many years later, there are still Keyblade wielders, and things like that have happened. There is a guy named Master Ericus, voiced by Mark Hamill. He will be Mark Hamill from this point forward. And
Yeah.
Xehanort, who is just Palpatine, so he will be Palpatine from this point forward, and for at least this section. Have a falling out because Palpatine really wants to know about the dark side of the Force. I mean, the dark side of the heart. And Mark Hamill says, "Hey, that's a really bad idea." And he goes, "Fuck you! You don't know what you're talking about." So he has this growing obsession with the darkness in people's hearts, as well as the Kingdom Hearts, which he believes will give him ultimate power. So they have a falling out, and then a couple years later, like 20 years later, basically, he is experimenting and trying to figure it out. So he separates the darkness from somebody's heart, named Ventus, and that becomes a character known as Vanitas. And because Ventus's heart was basically shattered by this thing, it connected with the heart of another person, a young boy named Sora, who shared some of his heart, some of his like joy and whatever, with Vanitas and filled the darkness with light. So Vanitas became a being of pure light. Xehanort, Palpatine was not really expecting to have him survive this. So he sends him to live with Ericus. He drops him on the front doorstep, and Ericus takes him in. More years pass. Ventus, with his friends Aqua and Terra, are becoming Keyblade Masters, and it is time for Aqua and Terra's exam to become Keyblade Masters. In the exam, Aqua does great. Terra shows a little bit of issues controlling the dark side of the Force. By that I mean the darkness within his heart, aka his rage and anger and fear and whatnot. So Ericus is like, "Look, I'll put you on the I'll put you on the council, but we're not going to grant you the rank of master. Terra goes, this is outrageous. This is unfair. And stomps off. But Aqua gets to become a master. So after the thing, Palpatine, I mean Xehanort, finds Terra, I mean Anakin, and it's like, damn, it's a really big shame, bud, about, that whole thing I was watching. You did really well, and, I do get what he was saying, but that darkness, in you, if you really wanted to show him how it's done, just learn to control it. Learn to use it to make it a weapon for yourself. Blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, that's a great idea, Palpatine. Yeah, use the darkness, and then he'll give me mastership. So he leaves, he disappears. Ericus is like, Mark Hamill's like, hey, Aqua, so I'm really worried that he just up and left, and he's not really, he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing, and also, like, I'm worried that some bad thoughts are going in his head. Can you just bring him back here and make sure so I can make sure he's all okay? She goes, okay. And then Ben is like, hey, can I come with? And she's like, no, you're not a master. So Ben also leaves to chase them down. And they each go through a bunch of different paths. A bunch of things happen. The main ones is that they meet Mickey in various trainings. He's going through his own Mark of Mastery test. Underneath the sorcerer Yen Sid, who is a Keyblade master at this point. Additionally, Terra meets a young Riku, who will be a character we discuss later, and bequeaths him, which is a ceremony which basically allows him to summon a Keyblade later, right? It's basically like a Keyblade wielder can bequeath another person so that they can become a Keyblade wielder in the future. So Riku gets that, and basically the understanding of, like, you really love and care about your friends. Here, this power will help you protect them in the future. So Terra does that. And then a wombo combo of things happen where Xehanort reveals his plans to Master Ericus, whose response is basically, oh, you're going to make Vanitas, the pure darkness, fight Ventus, the pure light, to form the Keyblade. I need to kill Ventus to keep that from happening.
Huh?
And then Xehanort goes to Terra and is like, hey, by the way, I just talked to Ericus. He just said he was going to kill Ventus. And then Terra goes, he what? So he goes back and he fights Mark Hamill. And he kills Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill's like, oh God, I'm dying. My son, I always loved you like a son, Terra. I really shouldn't have wanted to kill Ventus. That was a really stupid idea, and it cost me my life. Blah. And then Palpatine, I mean Xehanort, shows up, and he's like, ha-ha, I've manipulated all of you the entire time. Meet me here at the Keyblade Graveyard, which is this area where the Great Keyblade War happened. It's just like a fucking desolate area littered with Keyblades. And so what ends up happening is Xehanort fights all three of them. They're like geared up in their armor and shit. It's really cool. But he fights all three of them and just mollywops them. It's pretty bad. Then he separates Ventus so that he can fight Vanitas one-on-one. And then Vanitas takes his helmet off and he looks like Sora. And it's like, what the fuck? But it's because the darkness that was in his heart that became Vanitas was actually replaced by Sora, so he's a mirror of that, which is why he looks like Sora. It's complicated. Anyways, Xehanort fights, and eventually the Keyblade is formed, and he's like, ha-ha, with this I will unlock Kingdom Hearts, and it will be I will become the most powerful goober of all time. And Terra is like, that's not going to happen. And Ventus, using his own willpower, basically breaks free of that. However, in doing so, his heart is cast from his body, and Terra has to use his darkness, his inner darkness, to stop Xehanort from doing things. However, because he just let himself feed into his darkness too much, Terra becomes the first victim of getting Norded.
Damn.
Which is basically just if you let the darkness control you too much, or like absorb into you too much, Xehanort can use that to basically possess you, right?
Yeah.
So Xehanort possesses Terra, and in doing so, he basically tries to fight him, and then Terra from inside his own body is holding him back as they're trying to fight Aqua and Ventus. And what ended up happening is Ventus, Aqua, and Terra are all falling into what's it called? They're falling into darkness. They're falling into the world of darkness. And basically, Terra uses his control over his armor to take her, or to rescue Ven, I believe, from it. Oh, no. Sorry. I remember what happens. Aqua throws herself into the darkness to save Ven and Terra from falling into it. Terra then also imbues his armor with his will, like just pure willpower and anger. And that armor, like, autonomously basically starts beating Xehanort's ass. Aqua basically hides Ventus in Castle Oblivion, which we'll get to later. And then she is set to wandering the darkness forever. Terranort basically awakens on a place called Radiant Garden, completely amnesiac. He remembers his name is Xehanort, but that's it. He starts working under the leader and ruler of Radiant Garden, called Ansem the Wise. So Ansem the Wise is learning about the heart of worlds, learning about the darkness and the light and everything else, and very quickly realizes that, like, this can go bad very quickly, and bans his apprentices, including Xehanort, from looking into these matters. They don't like that. They basically overthrow him, and then Xehanort starts referring to himself as Ansem. They keep doing some stuff, and eventually they all turn themselves into Heartless. Xehanort, now going by Ansem, his Heartless refers to himself as Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. And shadows... Yeah, basically. And his shadows basically begin consuming the world. Or, like, the darkness begins consuming the world very slowly. So now we're at the start of Kingdom Hearts 1. Sora is just a little guy with his friends, the Destiny Island trio. So there's the Birth by Sleep trio, which is Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. We will come back to them eventually. This is now the Destiny Islands trio. The Destiny Islands trio, Sora, Riku, and Kairi. Sora, Riku, and Kairi are friends. They want to explore what's out there, so they're building a shitty raft, getting a bunch of food, and planning to just sail the open ocean. It's not going to go well, but, they're kids, that no one's going to tell them that. But you basically spend the first bit of the game, helping build this raft, having, like, a cute rivalry with your friend Riku, and then, like, Sora very obviously having a crush on Kairi that Riku teases him for. On the final day, Sora gets a bad feeling, wakes up, and heads to Destiny Islands. There he finds it is being consumed by darkness. He finds Riku there kind of staring into it. Riku looking at it basically is like, this is it. This is our chance. This is our chance to leave and go elsewhere and explore the world. So, Riku does that. Riku basically lets himself be devoured by darkness. Sora, on the other hand, is like, fuck that. He tries to reach out to Riku and can't. And then what ends up happening is Sora finds himself in possession of the Keyblade all of a sudden. So remember when Riku got bequeathed earlier? And was like given the opportunity to get the Keyblade? This is basically the end result. The Keyblade went looking for him, but because he was gone and lost to darkness, it couldn't find him, so it went to Sora instead. So Sora is not the chosen one, he is like the extra. Sora goes into this little back room, finds Kairi standing next to the door. The door is the key to the heart of the world. The Heartless want to get into there to devour it because then they can just send the world into a permanent darkness. Sora finds Kairi there. She like trips and stumbles through him and then fades like a ghost. And then he gets left off to Traverse Town, which is like an interworld world filled with the survivors of all of these missing planets. Mickey is a king, so we're going to get to him in a second. So in the meantime, Donald and Goofy are the king's mage and head of the guard, respectively. They go to find Mickey, and they find he left him a note. He says, hey, a bunch of stars are disappearing in the sky. I'm going to find out what's going on with that. You guys need to go find the Keyblade wielder. And then we're going to have to figure it out. This is your mission. So Donald and Goofy are like, fuck it, we ball. And they head out. They end up in Traverse Town looking for it. Sora, waking up, is like, I need to go find my friends, Riku and Kairi. So when they all three made up, Donald and Goofy's like, oh my god, it's the Keyblade wielder. We need to find you so we can find the king. And then basically lie to his face and go, yeah, your friends might be with the king. Really? Yep. 100%. So Sora goes off with Donald and Goofy, and they start, like, looking around. Eventually, they kind of meet Riku again. But Riku's kind of, like, made that whole, like, anime edgy fucking vibe thing going on right now. Where basically, like, he's just like, I see, Sora. So you've found new friends as soon as me and Kairi weren't around. Don't worry, I'll fix Kairi for you, since you obviously don't give a shit about us, you bitch. Right? Stuff like that. So Sora's going around looking for Riku and Kairi, helping out worlds, closing them off, dealing with Disney villains. Speaking of Disney villains, they've all kind of formed a collective group who want to use the power of the Heartless to gather all 7 Princesses of Heart, who are beings on different worlds who are pure of heart. They do not have any darkness in their heart at all, right? There are 7 of them. They're all Disney princesses, with one sole exception, and I'll get to that later. But they believe that if they gather them all up, they can open up Kingdom Hearts, which will grant them infinite power and all of their wishes and dreams and blah, blah, blah. So you fight the Heartless, you go through everything else, you're going through the worlds, you're interacting with Riku, who is falling more and more into darkness, with Maleficent basically being like, you know, the voice in his ear, basically being like, look at him, gallivanting around with not a care in the world. He doesn't care for you or Kairi. Riku, meanwhile, has found Kairi, but she's in a comatose state. So he's like trying to fix her and everything, and doesn't believe that Sora gives a shit. So, you know. Eventually, you get to the end of the game. You defeat Maleficent, and it's just Riku left. There's the reveal that the Keyblade wasn't looking for you; it was looking for him. So he takes it from you. You fight back to him with. He takes it from you, and he takes Donald and Goofy from you. Then you have to go and, like, Beast is basically your fucking tank, as you have to go and you go through, like, Hollow Bastion, which is where they've made their, like, base, and fight through it back to finding Riku, who's like, ha, you think you can fight me? You've just got a bitch-ass wooden sword. I have the Keyblade. And
is that where
and
the
he's
Roxas
also like,
stick comes from?
Say again?
Is that where the stick meme image comes from?
No, that comes from something else.
Oh.
So anyways, you have this trio now. So he has a wooden stick sword, and he fights Riku, and he goes to fight Riku, but Goofy's like, Sora, I'm with you. Then Riku's like, so you'd betray your king? I'm not on your life, but I'm not gonna betray Sora either. And then he's like, Donald, tell the king I'm sorry. And then Donald's like, actually, no, wait, Goofy, we'll tell him together, wait for me. Which is a very sweet scene. And he's like, see, you'll never break us apart. And then all of a sudden the Keyblade comes back to Sora, and then he goes, my friends are my power.
Wow.
Yeah, no, literally, legitimately. My friends are my power. So my friends are my power happens, and Sora fights Riku, beats his bitch ass, learns that Kairi's heart is inside of his body, just like Ventus's heart is, but we don't know about Ventus's heart yet. So he goes, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do then. And he takes Riku's Keyblade, because Riku's Keyblade has the ability to release hearts from them, very much like a Heartless would. He stabs himself with it, turns himself into a Heartless, and releases Kairi's heart from inside of his body.
Wait, did we already finish this?
We did. I'm recapping.
Oh, we're still in the recap. Oh, God.
Yeah. So he does this. It has horrible, not horrible. It has a bunch of consequences going down the line, but he turns into a Heartless. Kairi gets her heart back. His body just kind of like disappears, but not really. His heart turns into a Heartless, but then she uses her magic powers, because guess what? She's the 7th Princess of Light, to revive Sora and bring him back. It turns out that Riku got Norded and is no longer in control of his body. He is now the 2nd person in the series to get Norded, and Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, uses the powers of the 7 Princesses of the Light to bring forth the door to darkness, which he believes to be where Kingdom Hearts lies. So he goes in, and he turns into a battleship. They fight, you win.
Turns into a battleship?
He turns into a battleship.
And not metaphorically, you mean like literally.
I mean, hold on, let me find the picture. Alright. Alright, look in the chat when you get a second.
Yeah. Sorry, what is this supposed to be again?
That's a battleship.
Sure. It
Hold
looks
on, let
like
me
a
see if
dick.
I can find a clue. I mean, it kind of looks like a dick, I'll give you that.
Kinda.
Here's another.
If I posted it in r/mildly penis, they would remove it saying it looks too much like a penis.
Maybe. It's supposed to be just a living ship. That's the idea. He's kind of the whole thing, but he's mostly the big guy with arms on the top. Oh no, sorry. He's the ship itself. The big guy with arms is the stand. So he turns into a battleship. You fight him, and then you fight him again in human form, and then he, in his dying breaths, opens the door to darkness and pleads for Kingdom Hearts to save him. However, the last little bit of light that's remaining in the door to darkness basically kills him, finishes him off. But now there's a bunch of Heartless threatening to come out from the darkness. So Sora's like having to push it, but you need somebody on the outside and the inside. Luckily, Mickey shows up with his own Keyblade, which is basically the reverse version of Sora's Keyblade, where like his is the Keyblade of the world of light, Mickey's is the Keyblade of the world of darkness, which he basically scavenged down there.
Sure, we're supposed to believe that.
You basically. So, anyways, so Mickey shows up and he starts closing, trying to help the door close. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are trying to help the door close. Riku shows up. He's no longer Norded. And he's like, I realize I fucked up. He jumps inside and starts pulling it closed from the inside, trapping himself in the realm of darkness. So by the end of it, basically, they're back to square one. Kairi has disappeared. So fuck all. Sora is no longer Sora. He's like... Well, no, Sora's still Sora. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are kind of trapped in this like in-between dimension. Riku and Mickey are trapped inside the realm of darkness. And that's really it. So then you go into Birth by Sleep, where Sora, Donald, and Goofy are trying to make their way out of like the in-between realm. So they start walking. They walk down a path. They eventually find themselves a place called Castle Oblivion. Castle Oblivion has a bunch of guys who are calling themselves Organization 13 members there. There's about 5 of them there. Their names aren't important except for one. His name is Axel. And basically their goal is they're actually trying to betray their organization. And in doing so, they're trying to control Sora by removing his memories and then making him their pawn to use against the organization. Because, you know, the Keyblade is a very powerful weapon. So he's basically losing his memories because there is a witch who controls memories named Naminé there. And she basically replaces Kyrie in his memories while taking them away. So she becomes as important to him as Kyrie, and he forgets all about Kyrie. And like she overlays herself where Kyrie used to be. So Sora goes through, he kills like 1 or 2 organization members. One of the things you realize is that Axel's kind of weird because he's, on one hand, he feels like he's like helping the guys, but he's also, then he starts betraying the plotters. And the whole time he's really just like out for himself and does just whatever the fuck he wants, right?
Yeah.
Sora gets to the end of it. Naminé kind of reveals like, hey, I did the fucky wucky on your memories. I'm really sorry. I just did it and I shouldn't have, and I feel really bad. Looks like you have to go through there and like go into that little hole.
Yeah.
So she feels bad, and she gives him the option. She can either put him in a pod and basically manually pick up the memories, put them back together, or he can keep the memories he has from Castle Oblivion and remember her and all of the stuff, because he says, hey, no, I actually do really care about you. And he goes, actually, though, I really need to remember my other friends too, but I'm not going to forget you because we're already connected. So don't worry about that. So she goes, okay, fine, I get it, whatever. However, Jiminy Cricket, who's basically Sora's like, he literally acts as like Sora's log keeper, right? He's the group note taker, right? He writes in his note, thank Naminé. So Sora is put in a little pod and they slowly put his mind together. And so you have that kind of going on. Meanwhile, Riku and Mickey somehow end up in Castle Oblivion as well. Castle Oblivion sits between the light world and the dark world. You can enter from either place. They managed to enter through the dark world entrance. But because it's not tuned towards Riku, it's not stealing his memories. During this, both Sora and Riku meet replica Riku, who's like a doll which was made in the image of Riku with a lot of his memories and personalities, but he's also very like aware that he's not Riku, and he's very upset about it. He's like full edgy anime nonsense about it. Like, I'm not even real. Nothing about me is real. This is hell. But only when he's talking to Riku. With Sora, he's like, no, I'm the real Riku. So eventually Riku gets to the bottom as well, finds Sora there, and it's like, God damn it, Sora, you lovable bastard. You just can't. Everything you do, man, I always got to be picking up after you. All right. Naminé, here's what's going on. I know he's like, you got to put his stuff back together, but because he's going to forget, I'm going to remember you and blah, blah, blah. And it's very sweet. But Naminé is like, okay, cool. Can you help me put his memories back together? And during this, they meet a guy named Diz.
Diz, D-I-Z?
D-I-Z. Diz. It is meant to be like Disney, but it's kind of different. But his name is Diz, and one of the things that Riku kind of learns is that he's filled with darkness, and he's afraid of that darkness taking over him again and getting Norded again.
Yeah.
But he kind of comes to terms with like using his power, not being afraid of it, making sure it's his power and not anything else.
All right. Before we go further, I want to know, how much more do we have remaining?
Quite a bit. Not enough to get us to the end of my availability.
As in?
At least an hour. But that's about where the recap ends, because now we got to get to Kingdom Hearts 365 days and then 2.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm,
Hmm?
I'm thinking like I titled this stream "Finding Gwen," but we haven't done any progress on that. So do you think we should change the title, or do you think?
Yeah, my friend talks about Kingdom Hearts for a long time.
Yeah,
That's a fair title
yeah,
change.
let me hold
What?
on.
While you're changing that, I'm going to continue to spit my shit.
Yeah, okay.
So, anyways, when Sora stabbed himself earlier, when you're a very powerful person and you turn into a Heartless, your body kind of remains behind. Your heart becomes a Heartless. Your body just kind of sits there with a soul and nothing else. Sora's body was reformed, so his old body just was there. It turned into a nobody. A nobody is basically what is left behind with that powerful body, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of for a little while, kind of during the whole events of Birth by Sleep, Roxas was basically learning to live. A nobody only really has the memories of who they used to be. They don't really have anything else.
Yeah.
Roxas becomes more conscious and aware of himself, and eventually is recruited into Organization 13. But he looks like Ventus, which is weird, but it's because Ventus's heart is still within Sora. So, Roxas basically is like, he looks kind of like Ventus. So Roxas is part of this thing, and it turns out while Sora, he's kind of got Sora's memories, but not really. But he can use the Keyblade, and the organization really needs that because they need to gather hearts, because they believe that you can summon Kingdom Hearts by gathering enough hearts, and the Keyblade killing Heartless is the only way to do that. So he basically goes on missions killing Heartless around and learning how to be a person. Eventually, there's a guy. We talked about Axel before, right? Axel is like, he has a memory of interacting and really liking Ventus. So because Roxas looks like Ventus, he thinks that he should like Roxas, right? Damn,
Yeah.
you killed it. So he thinks that he should like Roxas, so he does. He gets along with him best he can, starts hanging out with him and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
And so he basically, trying to think how to put this.
Huh?
I'm just trying to think of how to put this.
Yeah,
So
no,
they
that's fine. The
basically
Delibird just flew away. That's what kind of threw me off.
Yeah. So they basically just kind of go around and do stuff. That's really it. Axel kind of takes him under his wing and kind of teaches him a lot of stuff for it. So they start like hanging out, and they basically form like rituals, right? Where it's like, okay, what do people do? Well, people, after they're done with like missions and stuff, or when they're hanging out with their friends, they eat ice cream together. That's really it. That's the basis of friendship. That is all Roxas knows about what friends do. Friends eat ice cream together. But they kind of have this like ritual going where they eat ice cream after a mission.
Okay.
And so eventually they kind of like get to talking more, and then the organization reveals this person named Shion. She doesn't really talk to people. She's a new nobody. But But Roxas and Axel kind of like Axel's a little apprehensive because he doesn't know her and he's a nobody, so it's like they're kind of sociopaths. They only do things because they think they should. Like if you were a nobody, you would still play D&D with us, right? But you would play it because you think that's what you should do, not because it's what you like doing or want to do, right?
What the fuck?
You're like, that's the thing. It's like they're doing things. They're doing things, basically. Trying to think how to put it. They're just going through the motions, right? They don't have wants or needs. They just are, right? They're trying to find Kingdom Hearts. Most of them are trying to do it because they want to have a heart desperately, right? They want to be people again. And that is what Xehanort, the nobody Xehanort, promised them. However, what ends up happening is Xehanort continues to do things. They fight, or not they. Give me a second, brain. So the missions continue. You have now the sea salt ice cream trio because once again, now there's 3 of them. They all start eating sea salt ice cream together on the thing because that's what friends do, right? And you kind of get the feeling of like it's just kind of like multiple days of just the same thing over and over again. You know, you do missions, things happen, you come back, you do a mission, and it's a big routine. You do the mission, you come, you eat ice cream with your friends. That's how Roxas lives his life. But occasionally Axel kind of goes and does some things, and then partway through, Xion stops. Xion was able to also summon the Keyblade, but at some point, she's unable to do so. So Roxas and Axel, because they care about her, which is weird because they're not supposed to. You know, that's not supposed to be what happens. Because they're supposed to be sociopaths. But they care about her, so they cover for her. They're like, hey, you should really put Roxas and Xion on the same missions together. Because, you know, for reasons. And they're trying to hide that she can't summon the Keyblade anymore. They end up successfully doing so for a while. And we find out that basically what's happening is Sora has a finite amount of memories, right? And because Xion is supposed to be a copy of Sora, to the point where, like, while she looks like Kairi with black hair to Roxas, that's because Roxas is also Sora. And Kairi was a part of him, so he sees her as Kairi. Everyone else sees her face as Sora, who have seen Sora, right?
Huh.
Yeah. However, Roxas, she's basically like, she and Roxas are basically fighting for the same hardware. Whoever gets the, like, she is pulling the memories from Roxas, right? And so eventually what will happen is there won't be any left in Roxas and he will just disappear, right? And then she'll just be the only one left. And for the organization, they don't really give a fuck. They just need the, what's it called? All they care about is the Keyblade. They don't really care about who has it or what, right? So whether or not it happens, but Axel's like, this fucking sucks. These are my friends. And like one of them is literally killing the other one with her existence. So what ends up happening is by the end of the game, there's a bunch of turmoil and very like big sad boy moments. And eventually Xion finds out about what's going on and that she is actively killing Roxas. And so she begs Axel, like Axel is basically like, I'm going to go kill Xion because for his mind, once again, being a nobody, Roxas is his friend. Roxas is somebody he likes. Therefore, you know, he doesn't know Xion as well, so if he was going to pick between the two, he'd pick Roxas over Xion. But Roxas is like, that doesn't make fucking sense. We're both your friends. You know, and he's like upset with Axel. They have a big fight. Everyone's hating each other. Xion finds out, and then she starts begging Axel to kill her because she doesn't want to be the death of Roxas and is completely broken up about it. But he can't do it because he actually, once again, he's doing the thing that he's not supposed to be able to do, where he has feelings and emotions. So it becomes a big deal, and it's like, wait, he shouldn't be able to have that. What's going on? Well, it turns out, if you leave a body with a soul for long enough, with enough connections and everything else, right? It'll eventually just build a new heart, right?
Huh.
So, like, Roxas, Xion, and Axel all are basically, just by the nature of, like, the Kingdom Hearts universe, they are fully realized people. They're no longer nobodies, you know?
Damn.
Yeah, because of the connections they've chosen to make and everything else. So Roxas, finally there's this big confrontation because Roxas is going to disappear eventually if Xion is not dealt with, right? It is a matter of one or the other. So Xion forces the situation by attacking Roxas instead, forcing him to kill her. And when she dies, it's not just that she just dies, it's that all memory of her disappears.
Oh,
because
boy.
she wasn't supposed to exist in the first place. The only reason she did exist is of other people's memories of her. But because she doesn't really have a heart, because she doesn't have a body or a soul, she just blips, right?
Dang.
She's effectively, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's all that needs to be said for it. But she just disappears, and Roxas, not knowing why, becomes very disillusioned with the organization and quits. And Axel is freaking out because he doesn't know why Roxas is quitting. Because remember, none of them remember that Xion ever existed.
This feels like a big oversight.
Why?
Like they should not have their the cohesion of their team hinge on someone who may or may not exist.
Well, here's the thing. She does technically exist because guess what?
What?
Because she theoretically gained a heart through her connections and interactions with Axel and Roxas, she does still exist. She just disappears, but like that connection is still there, right? So they're doing is they don't know why, but they feel like this connection is gone, or like it's there, but it makes them feel very sad, right? So Roxas leaves the organization. Axel makes a vow to drag his ass back. And Roxas leaves. Eventually, though, Roxas kind of now fully having Sora's memories finds this mysterious cloaked figure who then pulls back his hood and it's revealed, oh my god, it's Riku. But he's older and edgier and he's got a fucking blindfold on for some reason. So they fight and I shit you not, he literally does the I have to use my full power. Forgive me, I didn't want to do this moment. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
Like he literally just has the
edge is palpable.
The darkness. Yeah. The darkness inside of me. I didn't want to use this power. So he does that. And eventually he overcomes Roxas. And by this point we get into Kingdom Hearts 2. By which point, if you didn't play the fucking Game Boy game, you would have no idea who Roxas is. You start out as Roxas, who's, for all of his intents and purposes, he's just a kid, because what they did is they put him into the Matrix, basically. where he's just living life and doing stuff, right? He's a normal kid in a place called Twilight Town with his friends Hainer, Pence, and Olette. And while he's in this, like, matrix, they're taking out the memories that he has absorbed of Sora's and putting them back into Sora slowly, right?
Huh.
Eventually, this will cause Roxas to be fully reabsorbed into Sora. There will be no Roxas anymore. So Roxas lives his life with Painter, Pence, and Olette, but the start of the game, a bunch of these items disappear, and you can't even say the word of the item that disappeared. Like, every time you try, nothing happens. But everyone's blaming him and his group because no one else would take those items. But they didn't, and they're trying to prove their innocence. And it's really being, like, front-runnered by this guy named Cypher, who's, like, the bully group in this fucking area. Like, he runs, like, a minor gang of losers. It's kind of funny. They're all, like, Final Fantasy characters here.
Like
so Cypher...
Yeah, no,
they're all actual... Yeah, no. Literally, one of the characters in his gang, it's like him and 3 other people, and one of them is fucking Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. The little, like, robe and hat guy
I don't know much about Final Fantasy, so actually, you telling me it wouldn't help, really.
That's fine.
Forget that.
Basically the Black Mage from Final Fantasy IX. Like, one of the most important characters in the game. But they all fight. They finally find it. There's this mysterious gray figure that has it. And so what they end up doing is they find the creature and they get the things back, and they're all photographs of Roxas, which is why everyone thought he was the one who was stealing them, because who else would steal photographs of Roxas? That's really weird. So he goes to the next day, and he's like, it's summer vacation, which is poignant because in 365 and a half days, one of the conversations that him and Axel have on the clock tower is about kids having summer vacation. And he's like, man, I really wish I knew what that was like, you know? I wouldn't even know what to do with all that time. And it's kind of like meant to be like just a sad thing because he's a sad boy. But he's having his summer vacation with his friends, and they want to go to the beach. So they're like, okay, let's all make money because we need money to take a train to the beach. So you do that. However, Roxas is meant to be in charge of the money thing, and it gets stolen from him. His friends one of them, Hainer, gets really mad with him about it. And basically they fight about it. There's a big argument. But there's also this big, like, struggle tournament, which is like the town sport, which involves just hitting each other with foam bats until you collect all of these, like, red and blue balls that pop out of them.
Pokeballs?
No, they're just like big balls. I don't know how to put it. But you collect them, you enter this tournament, and you fight Cypher. You fight Vivi, actually, who's surprisingly tough. Like he's not a difficult fight for you, but like the game basically says, like, he's never been this strong. How is he this strong? He's actually being corrupted by the system. So anyways, you fight Vivi, you fight Hainer again, and it's basically one of those anime moments where it's like you fight your best friend and then you feel better about each other afterwards. Ooh, Larvitar. Love that Pokemon. So you make up with your friend, and then you fight the champion, and you most likely beat his ass. And then the next day happens. It's the final day of your summer vacation. Roxas they're not going to go for the for the beach trip, but instead they forgot that they had a final homework assignment to do over the break. So they're going to do their homework assignment on the 7 like wonders of the local area, right? 7 great mysteries and whatnot. So they go and do this thing, and it's all of them are like genuine things for Roxas's perspective, because they're all like supernatural, or like they have the big monsters again that were there. But like every time he deals with it, it like normalizes itself, and then there's like this reasonable explanation for why they're doing this. Because like Pence shows up and he's like, "Oh yeah, that must be this." But by the end of it, time freezes, and one of those Dusk's nobodies show up, and Roxas is like, pulls out the Keyblade from nowhere, and is like, "All right, I'm tired of this shit. You're gonna tell me what's going on." And he chases them all the way into the basement of this big manor that is nearby. What you end up doing is you go to the basement, and he learns that Sora is actually him, and that Sora, you know, that Riku and them have been trying to resurrect Sora, and really needs the last bit of memory from him, and also that by doing that, he's going to just disappear. So he fights it. Finally, he comes to accept it, with the line being, "I guess my summer vacation is over." And then he disappears. Sora and Ko wake up. They're closed. It is now like several years later, because it took like 2-3 years. He's like 15 now to like put his memories back together. So they wake up. They're not sure what's going on. They find in the book, Thank Namine. They have no clue who they are. And if you didn't play the other games, you have no idea who she is either, and it's really funny. You're like, who the fuck is Namine? Thank Namine, what the fuck? So you get through it, you keep going, and what ends up happening is Sora gets to the train station, and he's in the real version of Twilight Town. He gets to the train station, and Mickey shows up wearing one of those fancy organization uniforms. And it's like, that's fucking weird. Why are we trying to hide Mickey Mouse's face and head? He has the most recognizable head of all time. Right? You can cover it with a black cloak. Like he's literally facing away from the camera the entire time, but it's still his fucking head, and it's still his fucking voice. But the game's trying to be very like coy about it, and it's like, no, it's just Mickey. What the fuck? But he hands you
like Straw Ham in Part 2.
I don't know. Like, okay, let me put it this way. Imagine if Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, was trying to hide by turning away from you.
Has he done that? Like, actually?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. But like, imagine if like one of the most recognizable characters in whatever media you're doing, their plan for hiding, right, is just not look at you. That's it. But that's not like them trying to hide from somebody. That is the author trying to hide them from you, right? It's like trying to hide Luffy in a scene by having him just not be looking at the character. It's dumb. It's really dumb, but it's funny. So anyways, you have this happen. Mickey also gives them fucking Roxas's money pouch that he stole. He was the one who stole Roxas's money pouch and made them all fight. It was really funny.
Why did he do that?
Just for shits and giggles. I really don't know. But he sends you guys to go meet with Yen Sid. Donald's really fucking excited about that for some reason, because Yen Sid is a really powerful spellcaster, and he's Mickey's former master. So, like, Donald's like, oh my god, he's the most powerful wizard of all time. Of course I want to meet him. Yen Sid is the wizard from Fantasia.
Oh, that's canon.
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't really consider that the various incarnations of Mickey to various stories that we do canon, but you know, sure.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, Fantasia Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Basically, we meet this guy, and he's basically like, Sora, you have much to deal with. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, go down and meet the 3 good witches from fucking, I think it was Cinderella. They'll get you your new gear. And so you go down and you meet...
3 of them are from fucking Sleeping Beauty.
Oh yeah, okay. Meet the 3 good witches from Sleeping Beauty. They're gonna fix you up with some new duds. So you go to the 3. They fix his clothes. They give him fitting clothes, and he has the like belts and zippers and stuff of every Tetsura Nomura game ever. Right?
Really what?
Every Tetsura whatever every Nomura game, right?
Who?
The guy who is the art director for Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Like, you know how like all of those characters and all of those things are just like inundated with fucking belts and zippers and shit? So they updated Sora's
You know, I'm starting to see why people love Kingdom Hearts so much.
Oh yeah.
It's got all the edge of it's got so much edge, but it's still Disney. So it's got like a lot of...
Well, here's the thing. Sora's like a happy-go-lucky bean. But it has like some of the edgiest characters. It has fucking Cloud, who's just like, I'm here to kill Sephiroth. And then you have Sora, who's just like, oh, that's okay, buddy. You know, if I find him, I'll let him know that you're around. Good. Okay. Well, it was good talking with you, Cloud. Yeah. Sure, Sora. And then you have like all of this other stuff, and like, so you meet with Yen Sid, and you find like Pete is right outside as well, so you beat his ass.
Who's Pete?
He was like Goofy's neighbor in a lot of like the Goofy movies and stuff.
Oh, okay, that Pete. Yeah, okay, I get it.
He's working for Maleficent because she survived the previous game somehow. And what ends up happening is he's like her minion. He just does things for her. It's really funny.
Why is it funny?
It's just because he's goofy. He's like inherently kind of a goofball.
Wait, I thought he was Goofy's neighbor.
You know what I mean, you fuck.
And I'm just laughing about.
No, I'm joking. But anyways, so you have him. He's just kind of a silly guy. So Sora is given the new thing. Riku's kind of gone missing. He needs to find Riku. He needs to find Kairi again. And he needs to stop Organization 13. That's kind of what's going on. So he goes out and he goes into the Disney worlds like normal, and he finds them all. And it's basically all of the normal stuff. Give me 1 second. So anyways, you have Kingdom Hearts 2, and by this point Sora's just going around doing things and kind of like wrapping up some things from the last one. it turns out the big castle that the Heartless were using as a base was actually like the big Final Fantasy world called Radiant Garden. That was where Ansem did his experiments, and that's where everything kind of went to shit. However, the Final Fantasy crew was like, hey, now that this thing is no longer overcome by darkness, we need to like fix it back up, make things good again. So they're restoring it, and it's kind of going good. Fucking Donald Duck's uncle, fucking Scrooge, is financing it.
Of course he is.
Because apparently if you have enough money, you don't need to worry about the barriers between worlds. You can just be rich and you're fine. You can yeah, it's really funny to me.
I mean, that tracks.
But anyways, so he's financing it. He's trying to help them get back on their feet. And then he's trying to sell ice cream. Sea salt ice cream. So anyways, Kingdom Hearts 2, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Then some shit's going back down at Radiant Garden. So you end up like going there, and it turns out the defense system that they had installed is turning against itself. And then you go into fucking Tron.
Tron?
Tron, Tron.
Tron.
Yes, Tron.
Like the one with Morbius.
Yes. You help Tron defeat the... Die. You help Tron defeat the programs, and it's all good, everything's there, but there's a fuckload of Heartless. There is 1,000 Heartless.
But just to clarify, is it like a Tron, like the original Tron, the sequel,
yes,
or
the original Tron?
Have any of you ever seen Tron? No? Okay.
You probably haven't.
I was making a reference to a Sarah Bridge. I have watched Tron.
Okay. But anyways, it's the original Tron, right? He finds...
Okay, I think some of it, like, because it's a sci-fi isekai. How could I not? How could you assume that I would not have watched it, man?
Because it's older than we are.
So?
I will not make that mistake in the future. So anyways, but there's a big battle, and you're going to fight.
I'm just messing around, by the way. I'm not actually offended. Yeah.
You're all good.
Sorry, continue.
So anyways, Tron happens. Sora comes out of it, and now you have to fight 1,000 Heartless because there's a big battle, and all of the Final Fantasy characters are there fighting the Heartless. Meanwhile, the organization has been here the entire time because they really want Sora to kill Heartless, because as they do, he releases their hearts, and they collect those hearts because they believe that collecting is enough will allow them to summon Kingdom Hearts, right?
Huh.
So the more that he keeps doing what he does, the more he just plays into their hands. Eventually, Sora gets into this fight. He starts fighting organization members now, because now it's the Battle of 1,000 Heartless is kind of the like transitionary section, where you transition from Heartless being the main enemies to nobodies being the main enemies. Where like Heartless are there, but it's mostly nobodies because like Sora is actively fighting them now. Sorry. So anyways, you fight, Goofy dies. Mickey
What?
gets really...
Hold the fuck up. You can't just say Goofy dies and like it's... What?
Goofy in an effort to protect Mickey from a bunch of falling, either Mickey or Sora, in an effort to protect them from like a bunch of falling rocks.
Rocks while Goofy dies?
Yeah, he gets hit in the head with them, and then he dies. And Mickey, over his body, they'll pay for this. They'll pay. He literally has a warrior scream into the night. They'll pay for this. And then you go charging in and you defeat all the Heartless.
Did that undercut the emotional impact?
Oh, it's kind of fucked up the first time, but the second time it's hilarious. You get the Battle of 1,000 Heartless, and you go through everything. It turns out Goofy didn't die; he was just knocked out.
Did no one check?
Yep. He's just got a thick head, Mickey. So yeah, no, Goofy doesn't die. He's alive. No one checked. And then what's really funny is that right afterwards, you kind of just like completely get just like nobody's up the ass everywhere you go. And every mission from that point forward is very specifically trying to disrupt Organization 13. So Organization 13, now knowing that Sora is completely hostile to them, decides that they need some leverage. So they go and kidnap Kairi, and they send Axel to do it.
Wow.
So they kidnap Kairi, and it is what it is. You know, no one. She's basically the series damsel in distress. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And they basically just have her there, and Sora continues to disrupt their plans. Finally, he gets to the very end of the game, where he's going to confront Xemnas. Or not Xemnas. Xemnas. Because this is not Xehanort. This is Xemnas, who is the Ansem the Wise Xehanort nobody. So Xemnas is still collecting these hearts. Sora goes through his castle now, which is like, I think it's got an actually cool name. It's like the castle that never was or something. So he goes through and he's fighting the last remaining members of Organization 13. He's fighting Xigbar, he's fighting Zaldin, he's fighting everybody, and like, I don't remember at one point Axel basically is like, he turns against the organization because he knows that Roxas is still inside of Sora, and he wants to save Sora's friend. He wants to save Roxas because Roxas is his friend. And it just kind of goes to shit.
Wow.
At one point, like, they find Riku. Riku saves Kairi, but he's like hiding it. Because whenever he gives into the darkness, and the reason why earlier he was like, I didn't want to use this power, right? Is because every time he does, he looks like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Oh.
Like his body morphs and like it looks like Ansem again.
Like in fucking Animorph?
Yeah, kind of. So anyways, like Sora thinks it's Ansem and he's like, I don't understand why you're doing this for us, but thanks, man. And Riku's just sitting there like, I don't know how to tell him and I'm really embarrassed and I don't know how to explain it to him. But Kairi's there and kind of like is like, no, this is Riku, dumbass. Oh, Riku? Really? Well, it's okay. You'll get better.
Huh?
Basically just being a pure, like, ray of sunshine. Oh, I forgot to mention there was a Pirates of the Caribbean world as well that was unique to this game.
Like,
but
Pirates of
very
the
well,
Caribbean,
very
like
well.
Jack Sparrow?
Yes.
From Fortnite?
No.
No?
Okay, I need you to take into consideration for a second. This is an anime game with Final Fantasy characters,
Yeah.
and they brought in 2 live-action movies to it,
Wait, what's the other one?
being Tron
Alright,
and
Tron.
Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a wild thing to do, you know?
It indeed is.
So anyways, you get through it. Xemnas, Diz tries to sabotage what Xemnas is doing, and then reveals himself to actually be the real Ansem the Wise the entire time, voiced by Count Dooku.
Voiced by who? Oh, I've got the chatter. Oh, sup,
Oh, hey.
Kellys. One. I don't usually get people, so I hope that wasn't there a while ago and it's somewhat recent.
Yeah.
Count Dooku is in Christopher Lee?
Yes.
Saruman himself?
Yes, Saruman himself.
Wow.
But anyways, you have Christopher Lee voicing Diz. Basically, turns out he's Ansem. Was Ansem the entire time. And the entire time, he's basically been kind of butthurt about being exiled by his former students, and then really butthurt about one of them deciding to be his name. Now, one of the funnier things is when he first meets Riku, right? Riku looks like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and he's using, like, the dark powers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
he refers to himself as, "What's your name, young lad?" "My name is Ansem." "Really?" And then he starts laughing his ass off because he knows he's not Ansem, right?
Yeah.
But it reveals himself to be Ansem. He's using this big machine to try and break up Kingdom Hearts. Except he fucked it up. And it's gone bad because he doesn't actually know how the heart works. And he recognizes he's going to die, and Mickey's like, "Wait, no, you're not going to die. You're my friend. Don't do it." And he's like, "Just tell Sora that, you know, I believe in him. But this is, I'm going to die." So he goes, he dies. Theoretically. I'm not really sure. But I forget exactly how, but Riku is like, he comes back to his normal design, right? He's no longer the Ansem design.
Huh.
And him and Sora basically both confront Xemnas together. And just as is normal for, Kingdom Hearts, guess what? The final boss of 2, Xemnas, also turns into a fucking battleship.
Like in JoJo's?
No, like in fucking Kingdom Hearts 1.
I know. I'm reaching with that one.
Yeah, a lot. Anyways, so he turns into a battleship. And
Oh, by the way, you? Fuck. What?
yeah.
What were you saying? What did you say about earlier about Christopher Lee? What did you refer to him as?
God, what did he play in Star Wars? Darth, oh no, Count Dooku.
From Fortnite?
Die. Anyways. He kind of does stuff, and like the end of 2 is basically Sora and Riku defeating him together with Riku, and it's going to be like the end result is both of them getting trapped in the realm of darkness, and it's kind of sad. But they're not actually trapped in the realm of darkness because they're sitting on this beach, and it's kind of a somber scene, and they're just kind of enjoying themselves because it's like, regardless of what happens, I'm here with my friend, and it's going to be okay. However, they find a bottle, and opening that bottle up, using their connections with other people, because that's a major theme of the story.
Damn.
They are able to escape the realm of self-hatred and anger, and find their way back to their friends again. Almost like the game has a theme. However, that's the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Sora gets to hang out with Riku and Kairi, and things are happening, and they're okay. However, there is 2 more games, Recoded and Dream Drop Distance. Recoded is Jiminy's journal was digitalized, right? They made like a digital journal for him. However, it's getting a little fucky-wucky.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is they make a code Sora to go in there and flush everything out. And it turns out it's being infected by the remnants of the organization, and he's able to deal with it, right? Give me a second. So they tell basically that give me a second, my brain is frying, and basically Maleficent is hacking into Jiminy's journal, and they make a data Sora to kind of fix it. And there's a reference to Ventus's heart being inside of Sora, but we don't know that yet. However, after Recoded comes Dream Drop Distance, which is actually one of my more favorite games. Dream Drop Distance. Oh God, I forgot to mention one of my favorite parts of 2.
By the way,
We're gonna.
just so you know, we are reaching the end of time, like what you normally leave at. Are you okay to continue, or what?
I mean, I have to get ready to go in a second, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, remember when you were talking about you didn't know that was canon with something that happened earlier with the Yen Sid stuff?
Yeah.
You know what else is canon?
What?
Old Disney.
Elaborate.
There's a Steamboat Willie level.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, but what's funny about it is Pete is the steamboat captain of Steamboat Willie. Pete is that old of a character. And you have Steamboat Pete, who is a character from the past, so he has no fucking idea what's going on, throwing hands with modern Pete, and it's fucking hilarious. But anyways, you have a lot of the stuff. You have Dream Drop Distance now. Basically, with all of the stuff revealed, Xehanort is the final big bad, right? So what he is planning on doing is he is going to confront the Light World. He is making one last attempt to summon Kingdom Hearts, and his plan involves getting 7 creatures of light to do battle with 13 creatures of darkness, and that will finally summon the Keyblade and give him Kingdom Hearts. So in order to prevent that from happening, Master Yen Sid has decided that y'all need to get stronger. He's like, Sora, you keep losing your powers in between games. We need to fix that. So he puts Sora and Riku through the Mark of Mastery test, which is the same test that Aqua and Terra went through. But I guess every master gets to make their own rules.
Huh.
So, whereas Aqua and Terra's fight was just, hey, kill a couple of guys and try not to let the darkness hold over you. Master Yen Sid tasks them with diving into the dreaming worlds, which are worlds that were overtaken by darkness and are locked in these like periods of like wherever they were, right?
Yeah.
And basically just free them from the dreams, free them from the world of darkness, right? And so Riku and Sora dive into these planets and dive into these worlds, and rescue them from the darkness, where they meet other Nomura characters, such as all of the guys from The World Ends With You, who talk about fucking Tokyo, and it's really funny to me.
What's The World Ends With You?
The World Ends With You is a Tetsuro Nomura game. I don't really know any of the plot lines with you, but apparently it's got a pretty good cult following. But regardless of what happens, it takes place in Tokyo. So having these characters here literally talking to fucking Final Fantasy characters about returning to Tokyo is really funny to me. But anyways, you go through the dreaming worlds and you start waking them up. There's like Sora has his version of the worlds and Riku has his own, and they each have their own storyline with it, and they basically have this system where they like swap characters and swap storylines after a certain amount of time has passed. Eventually you go through like the Hunchback of Notre Dame world, you go through the like everything else. They have a lot of really cool ones in Dream Drop. But anyways, you get to the end of Dream Drop Distance and you start meeting more and more characters from the organization. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why is there Xehanorts? Why is everything else? And then you find Zigbar and he's like, guess what, bitches? He's trying to turn everyone into Xehanorts. The entirety of this, and me, I'm already part Xehanort, and he reveals he's got like Xehanort's evil yellow eyes. It's goofy. But anyways.
Wait, Goofy? Goofy's evil?
Oh no.
And I'm again messing around.
So anyways, Dream Drop Distance happens, and it turns out what they're trying to do, right, is they're interfering with the Mark of Mastery exam. And they've put Sora to sleep during it. And they've kind of like fucked around with it because dreams are kind of the closest things you get to death in the world of Kingdom Hearts, right?
Oh.
So like it kind of gets super complicated, and Sora, I'm probably going to yap your ear off and drive home and just drive talking. We're going to do that again. Because we're going to get through this.
But like, I'm worried about your driving, that's all, really. I don't know how
I'll
good
be
you're
fine.
at.
I'm very good at driving. I have never been pulled over. Because I'm a very safe and defensive driver otherwise.
Fine.
But anyways, so Sora, they're basically interrupting it. They've put Sora to sleep, and guess what they're planning on doing Shank
You tell.
with Sora. They're planning on Nording him too.
Of course.
because that's all Xehanort does is he possesses people. You got a nice body there. It'd be a shame if it were to be somebody else's. So he goes and he Norts Sora, or he tries to, but Riku saves Sora, and the Mark of Mastery exam is finished. Sora is basically told, we're going to grant you the, we're going to give you a seat on the council, but we're not going to grant you the rank of master. But Riku, you're definitely a Keyblade master. Sora, not so much. You've only saved the world about 4 times, but like, you're not a master yet. You need more training. So Sora continues to need to go train, and basically what ends up happening... Oh, shit. Basically what ends up happening is that is the last thing you get before Kingdom Hearts 3. So Kingdom Hearts 3 happens. Sora is continuing to be himself, and basically, trying to think how to put this. He's doing his normal thing. He's trying to be like a hero for folks. They are still preparing for Xehanort's eventual takeover, and whatever the eventual final fight is going to be, they're trying to prepare for it, right? It turns out Axel is still alive. And guess what? He's training to be a Keyblade Master now. Guess who else is training to be a Keyblade Master? Fucking Kairi. So they're trying to figure out all of that, right?
Yeah.
So you go through these worlds and you continue to do the thing. You're hitting up Disney worlds. But these ones are a little unique. You start with the familiar, right? Which is Mount Olympus, which is the Hercules world, and you've been to Hercules worlds before, There was a Hercules world in every single game, more or less.
Oh.
So you go to Hercules world, it's a lot different. It's an actual world, it's not a glorified Coliseum. And you end up going through it, and you end up fighting the fucking Titans, because by now Sora is a multiversal threat. I want to be clear. The power scaling of this series gets fucking insane by this point. Sora becomes he fights off the Titans with Herc, and they go to the Frozen world, they go to fucking Tangled. Just kind of hit up everything, Meanwhile, they're trying to find all of their stuff and figure out everything. And something that might be of interest to you is, as we're kind of looking around and we see Xehanort's Keyblade, guess what Keyblade Xehanort is wielding? Shanky there.
Theoretically.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
you remember all the way back, right, during the whole Keyblade War bit, right?
Yeah.
There was the Master of Masters who told one guy, he basically says, here's my Keyblade, it has my eye in it.
Mhm.
Anything that happens to this Keyblade going forward, I will be able to see, and that's what I'm going to use to write my Book of Prophecies. So you need to keep this with you, and, you know, just use it, and we'll figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So
So.
that's the Keyblade that Xehanort is using. Which is like, wait a minute, why do you have that Keyblade?
Hmm.
Yeah. Additionally, Zigbar's kind of acting a little weird. Like, he's looking for Zigbar. He's one of the nobodies under Organization 13, but he's always felt more like Xehanort's right-hand man, if that makes sense. Like, he always knows a little more of what's going on, but he's been acting a little weird. Like, he's doing his own thing, right? And he's looking for this black box the entire game, right? But he's not telling anybody. He's super cagey about letting anyone know what's going on with it, but he's looking for it the entire time. That's kind of happening in the background. It's like your characters are getting more powerful and stuff like that, right? Eventually, kind of what happens is Sora learns about Ventus's soul being inside of him, or his heart being inside of him, learns about what happened to Ventus, Aqua, and all of them, and decides that he's gonna, like, go and give Ventus back his soul. But in order to do that, he goes to the Realm of Darkness, where he finds Aqua, who has been corrupted by the Realm of Darkness after being down there for 20-some-odd years. But she's, like, all angry and angsty and all of this stuff, and it's like, so he beats the good into her, and then he goes and gives Ventus back his soul, or his heart, right?
Yeah.
And then just kind of, like, continues through, like, plotline of 3 is kind of interesting. There's a Toy Story world, which is super fun.
Of course.
It's actually very well made, too. Woody's voice is done by Tom Hanks's brother, because of course it is. That's kind of how that works.
Tom Hanks's brother. Who's that?
I don't remember exactly.
Wait, isn't Woody
But-
played by Tom Hanks? Could they not afford him?
No, it's not that they couldn't afford him. Sometimes, like, if Tom Hanks doesn't really want to do a role, his brother can do a really good Tom Hanks impression. So he just pawned it off on his brother.
Speaking of, are you familiar with this movie called Edge of Tomorrow?
I am not.
Like, for real?
Yes.
I just recently found out there's this one scene where Emily Blunt is one of the main characters, and there's a scene where one random character calls look, it's a full metal bitch, but before he can finish, she smacks him. Yeah?
Yeah,
And that character is played by her brother.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyways, so there's like a Toy Story level. But what ends up happening, right, is they get to the final confrontation, and I believe the 7 lights are Sora, Kairi, Axel, Riku, Aqua, Ventus, and Mickey. So that's your 7 Keyblade wielders. But it turns out Xehanort cheated in order to get his 13 darknesses. So you have a lot of organization members who have been Norded, right? You have like Zigbar, Zaldin, you have like the main Xehanort, but it turns out, right, the game decides that, hey, guess what? We're gonna add another convoluted thing. Fucking, he can time travel.
Time travel.
So now,
Did you say time travel or did I mishear?
No, I said time travel. Xehanort can time travel. But the metrics of it is basically he can only time travel to a time in which he is in that timeline, right? So he can only travel back in time to the moment of his birth and forward in time to the moment of his death.
Interesting.
So the way he cheats is what the amount of like to fill in the gaps of the 13 darknesses he needs. He just gets versions of him from other time, like other points in time. So he gets like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, because that is technically him. But he also gets like Xemnas, which is also technically him. Then he gets like young adult version of him. Then he like every single version of him that he can find, he just grabs them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, so you fight against Xehanort and you lose. Like straight up. Everyone dies. It is a I don't know how else to put it. Donald kills himself at one point.
Huh?
But also cements himself as the strongest character. The strongest spellcaster in every Square Enix game ever. So, Donald, in order to protect everyone, because there's like big hordes of Heartless basically attacking them. And so Donald, in an effort to protect everybody, casts the spell Zeta Flare. Zeta Flare is a spell that is cast only one other, like, there are only two other characters in any Final Fantasy or Square Enix game that have ever cast the Zeta Flare. Both of them are fucking Bahamut.
Bahamut from... Not the one we know from D&D, right? Different Bahamut.
Yes, it's a different Bahamut. They are both inspired by the same god.
Yeah, okay.
Bahamut is a dragon god in Final Fantasy games, too. He's the most powerful god, the god of light. Zeta Flare is considered to be like a universe-destroying spell that is so powerful that it takes a literal godlike being to cast it. And it is only cast by Bahamut in, like, Final Fantasy 15, I think? And then one other one. Right? So Donald Duck, fucking Donald Duck, is top 3 most powerful spellcasters in all of Square Enix Anthology.
All of Square
Quacked
Enix.
up.
Wow.
All of Square Enix. Yeah.
Crazy.
And everyone else just kind of slowly loses to Xehanort. And then you kind of just wake up in the dream world, basically. There's a little guy called a Chirithi there, and he's like, hey, yeah, well, you're kind of in the in-between right now. You're in the realm just after dreams, where dreams meet death, and stuff like that. And so, I forget the metric by which they do it. But basically, Sora is allowed to undo the events that happened. And basically load his quick save.
That doesn't sound fair.
It's not, but he's the protagonist, so fuck it. So basically, Sora loads the quick save, and then he kind of like, because he knows what Xehanort is going to do, he's able to change the future, change what happened, right? And save everybody's life. Additionally, as a part of it, he begins to wake up the Keyblades littered around in the Keyblade graveyard, because that's where they're having this fight.
There's a graveyard for Keyblades.
It's the site of the battlefield where all the way back in the very beginning, all of those factions fought and killed each other. There's just like a million Keyblades there.
Huh.
So what's fun is they begin to wake up and they basically begin to let Sora control them to fight the darkness, right? And what's very cool is if you played King Union Cross, the fucking mobile game, your names actually appear here as like weapons that you throw at the fucking thing. It basically gives a thank you kind of thing. But you can actually see the usernames of all of these people who were part of that game while it was still in service.
Oh, this game's not there anymore.
Yeah, they disconnected the servers a while ago. It wasn't a super popular game anyways. But, basically, you had a whole bunch, millions of fucking usernames and stuff like that as a part of this, right? Eventually, what ended up happening is Sora eventually takes the fight to Xehanort. He rips Terra back out of Terranort so that they can have their like happy reunion. I think at one point like they're able to bring Xion back as well. Roxas, through the use of replicas, is also brought into the fight. So now you have all of the trios fully reunited. Ventus, Terra, Aqua. You have the Destiny Islands trio fighting together. You have the what's it called? The Sea Salt trio, Ice Cream trio fighting together. It's very cool. Eventually, Xehanort just gets pushed too far, but he's able to form the Keyblade regardless. And so he just kind of like becomes all powerful. He theoretically creates Kingdom Hearts, and he brings Sora to the world where him and Master Ericus grew up in, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And he fights Sora 1v1 there. And because you're the protagonist, you win.
Of course.
You defeat him, and he is sent, he in his last moments, he doesn't really like redeem himself, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like he just kind of has a moment of acceptance, right?
Indeed.
Where he's like, I guess my plans were never really going to work, were they? I guess I have to accept that I'm no longer, what's it called? Like, he just kind of accepts, like, his own death. He doesn't, like, fight against it, you know?
Huh.
And then, so you remember when you were like, that doesn't seem fair, that Sora loaded a quick save?
Yeah.
So guess who else didn't think it was fair that Sora loaded a quick save?
I don't follow.
The setting. The setting also thought it wasn't fair that Sora loaded a quick save. Because what Sora ended up doing is perverting the natural laws of the world. He changed the past, he changed the future, and he brought himself back to life when he should have died. So the universe basically goes, all right, time to fix this, and snaps him from existence.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Sora gets isekai'd into Japan.
Japan?
From what I can tell, it looks like Japan. Because this is the end of the game. This is as far as we have in the story right now. He shows up into what I can only assume is fucking Shibuya.
Of course.
However, it's like it's very Japanese in its like design. But then he meets somebody named I forget the fucking guy's name, but he's a unique character in the game. But the only other time he's brought up is in the Toy Story world. Because in the Toy Story world, he's the main character of an anime video game that Rex has really been enjoying playing.
Huh.
And all of the toys think Sora is that character from that video game. Because he's also an anime video game character. And so Rex is like, hey, can you teach me how to beat this boss? And it's like, I'm not that guy. But it turns out, I guess, this guy's a real person, but he lives in this other world that is like separated from the world that Riku, Kairi, and all of them live in. Like, Sora is literally fully isekai'd into this guy's video game world. Where, congratulations, guess what happens to Sora again? He loses all of his fuck-mothering power.
Huh?
Because of course he does.
He loses power again.
So, yeah. He's not, like, completely weak, he can still do stuff. But, like, the video game character whose world it is beats him. And says some cryptic shit about basically having been tasked with hunting him down. And that was really it. That's all we got for the fucking game. Is that Sora was knocked unconscious by this guy, and it looks like fucking he's in Japan now.
That's funny.
We did get another trailer semi-recently, and
When?
people are thinking that there's going to be a Star Wars world now.
I mean, probably.
Well, so one of there was like some reveals of like trailers and things, and like
And?
basically there was like a very brief scene of like a photorealistic forest world, right? And people are thinking it's the moon of Endor. You know, at the end of
episode 3, yes.
Not episode 3, episode 6.
Right, 6. Right, they go
With the
4,
fucking
5,
nub-nub.
6, and then 1, 2, 3. Right.
Yeah. So the end of episode 6, they're thinking that it's the forest moon of Endor.
That
then
will
we're gonna
probably
get
have
some
be a
Star
good
Wars
setting for his stuff. They can have like most of the major characters in the place, as well as have a non.
Yeah. So
they
it
don't
seems
have to
like
put too much assets in designing the play environment. Well,
Yeah. So it seems like this part of Kingdom Hearts is a little weird. Because, like, the whole Ansem arc is done, right? Ansem is dead. Or not Ansem. Xehanort is dead, right?
yeah, Ansem as in the Seeker of Darkness. Ansem.
Yeah. So Xehanort is dead. He is not coming back. He has accepted his defeat and gone gracefully into the night. So there are no more bad guys, right? Because Xehanort was the evil mastermind for the first few games.
Uh-huh.
Like, every single bad guy is just Xehanort.
Huh.
Um,
Crazy.
yeah, oops, all Xehanort. Uh, so, anyways, um, every single bad guy is him, and now they're entering into a new era. I think is what the plan is. Having a new bad guy, having a new like overarching plot line to kind of do. But I do think that Star Wars would really blend well into Kingdom Hearts. Because Kingdom Hearts has already been a story of light versus darkness, of
Yeah.
like the good, happy emotions in your heart versus the bad, evil emotions in your heart. And like that's all Star Wars is, right?
Yep.
The light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force is literally just that.
You know, uh, this reminded me. I mean, I think the reason it will be Star Wars is because it's popular enough that people will buy just because there's like Star Wars characters who
Oh
will buy everything with Star Wars. So they'll be,
yeah, 100%.
yeah, they'll be just buying this if it's Star Wars. They'll buy all the
Yeah,
games.
I mean, here's the thing: Kingdom Hearts 3 had plenty of Disney worlds, which were interesting, though.
Hmm.
Like they had, for the new ones, they had Frozen, Tangled, fucking Big Hero 6 was one of them. Pirates of the Caribbean returned. Hercules returned.
Big Hero 6. You mean
Okay,
you know my biggest gripe with Big Hero 6?
what?
You know the character Fred
Yeah,
in the comics. His power is having a stand.
damn,
Literally, literally just a straight up stand. He has wants a thing that no one else can see.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. There not only is there's also the Pixar worlds now that they've added Pixar,
Oh yeah, I
because
gathered.
now you have hmm?
I gathered
well
from what
you
you
have
call.
Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story.
Well, you have Toy Story, but you also have Monsters Inc.,
Oh,
which was also super fun and new.
interesting.
Um, yeah. So you have Monsters Inc. and you have Boo in it too, which is cute. Trying to think what other worlds there were in it because there was a bunch of them. Was did we have a return to fucking Halloween Town in 3? I don't remember.
This
It
Halloween
was in
Town
1 and
in
2.
this.
Yeah, Halloween Town is one of the major worlds in both 1 and 2. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, with Jack Skellington and everything like that.
Jack Skellington from Fortnite.
Die. Anyways,
You never seen it coming, do you?
uh, no, I just kind of recognize that you can name any character and they would do that, except for fucking Surge from Chrono Cross,
Uh,
because my beloved Chrono Cross series has not been tainted by Fortnite's grubby thingies.
Chrono Cross. Where does this sound familiar? Chrono Cross.
It's the sequel to Chrono Trigger, which, as far as I'm aware, has also not been tainted by Fortnite's grubby thingies.
Oh, Chrono Trigger. Isn't that getting a remake?
No, they re-released it though recently, or semi-recently, within the last couple of years. They had a PC port.
Hold on. Okay, no, it's just speculation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, speaking
But
of
anyway,
remakes, God of War 1, 2, 3, and is getting a remake.
nice.
And I'm hoping it'll finally come to PC
Uh,
so I can play it
well,
and play
hopefully,
the
we'll see what happens.
new ones.
But Yeah, that's really it for where Kingdom Hearts is up to this point. I skipped over a lot of things.
I I assumed you did because it is wow, huge.
Let me put it this way: I've been watching a lore story playthrough of the games since October at work.
Damn, that's a long time.
You know where I'm current? I just got to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Also, by the way, do you
yeah,
think
it's kind of nutty.
you can just like help me
Uh,
do this good dialogue thing for a couple of side missions?
I have to. I don't think I can do a couple of side missions. It's
Okay, one then.
not
Huh?
enough.
Johnny there? Oh no, John.
I'm here. Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay, help me do this because it says talk to the fucking Gumi, and I'm like, what does that mean? You wanna be the Gumi?
Grandma. Yeah, sure. Grandma.
Hey kid, mind if I ask you a few questions? Just a few questions for
Stranger
you.
danger. Stranger danger.
Is that your Pokemon there? It's a fucking cop. Uh,
Is that your Pokemon there? Nope, never seen him before in my life, officer.
never.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Look, I've got
That
a
wasn't.
look. I've got a bench covered in goo. A Gumi on that bench, and then you standing right by it. I need to figure out what happened here and how to keep it from happening again. I don't see anyone else to ask. Do you know who this Gumi belongs to? If it's not yours, no idea. Someone who isn't me. No comment.
So, this weed we found was just your friends, right? You're holding it for them?
No comment.
I
Hmm.
plead the fifth, officer.
And what brings you by this particular bench tonight? If it isn't your Gumi, I want to get pet the Gumi. I just want to sit down. No comment. I don't see how far we can push it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you from around here? Maybe you can point me to someone else who might know this Gumi. I'm only here on vacation. No comment.
No comment.
Hmm.
I don't talk to cops.
You're sure this Gumi isn't your Pokemon? I do not know this Gumi.
I do not know this Gumi.
You know, it's not a big deal if it's your Gumi, right? I just need to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's a
now she's
fucking
playing
trap.
good cop.
Yeah,
Now it's
yeah. Kuma. That's your line, actually.
Grandma. Grandma.
I can't help but notice this Gumi is real friendly with you, considering it's not yours. Okay, how about this? If this really isn't your Gumi, you won't mind showing me the Pokemon you're actually here with, will you? Be clear, I'm telling you to your battle, kid. Let's see your team up close.
Police brutality. Police brutality.
This game is so real. You're challenged by Lycia and the police up. But also, you're not seeing my Pokemon. I'm going to knock you out.
You're not seeing all my Pokemon. You're fucking. I'm sorry, officer. Do you have a warrant? I have no reason to need to show you my Pokemon, officer. This feels like discrimination.
At least I've got no doubts at all about how capable you are in battle.
Okay, well,
You certainly put up a good
can
fight,
you
I'll give you
like?
that.
I can't believe she's stereotyping you.
You wanna take it?
Oh, sorry. Oh, why is the stream being weird? Goomy, I told you not to wander off. Grandma. You got that all bent, that bench all sticky too. Hey, listen, kid, I'm sorry I violated your rights. There, all cleaned up. Come on, Goomy, let's head home.
I would believe it if she'll apologize if she actually apologizes. She just gave me a look.
I wouldn't.
That wasn't your Gumi after all, then. I'm sorry, kid. There's so many wild Pokemon around the news these days. I'm feeling the pressure to head off trouble when I see it. Alright, actually apologize. Wow. Let me share a tip with you to make up for all the trouble. To evolve Gumi into its final evolution, you'll need to make use of Rain. With that, I'll take my leave. Thanks for bearing with me today, kid. Just a few questions for you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you didn't just get profiled. I can't believe they had a cop profile you in a game as a fucking mission.
This game really be realistic.
Alrighty.
Um,
You're not wrong. Hostile architecture attacking you.
and there's a whole bunch of things. Also, just hold on a second. There's like this one NPC who's just doesn't have a marker or anything. It just has the yellow text, which means special interaction. And it's like, all right, it's daytime.
Okay, I'm sitting out in my car. If we can go quick.
Right. Sorry. I'm going for the full course next. I'm going to try my hand at the full course battles at the restaurant. It's important to immerse yourself in all kinds of new things, don't you think? I think I'll start with yes. I'll have to be the 1-star restaurant, Lena. Okay, that was it. Seems. Also, I think we are out of side missions.
Already.
Because we have 4 remaining. This one I have to just battle. This one is like show Mega Medicham. This one is. But are you free tomorrow?
Yeah, roughly the same time.
Alright. Alright, we can.
I gotta head out.
Yeah, you take care. I'll see you tomorrow then. Take care. Thanks for hanging in for the load drops.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. I will message you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take care.
no problem. The next time I will keep it. All right, bye.
Bye.
I shifted the data.